If you can remember warm school milk in little glass bottles or scraping ice off the inside of the bedroom window in winter, this is for you. Because today, we're not just talking about toys. We're opening up a little box of British childhood. For the next few minutes, I'm going to take you through 20 classic toys that shaped our early years. Keep a quiet score in your head. How many did you own, borrow, or desperately wish for? If you hit 15 or more, you've definitely earned your free bus pass. Let's go back. Meccano. First memory for many of us. That unmistakable metallic rattle as the tin was tipped onto the carpet. Green and red metal strips, tiny silver nuts and bolts, little spanners just the right size for small hands. Meccano didn't babysit us, it challenged us. You learned patience trying to line up those holes and pure frustration when one crucial nut vanished into the sitting room carpet, never to be seen again. But when your crane finally lifted a pencil or your bridge actually stood up by itself, you didn't feel like a child playing. You felt like an engineer. Hornby trains. For others, the magic ran on rails. The smell of warm electrics, the soft hum as the controller turned. The first hesitant movement of the engine, then the steady rhythm as it circled the track. Hornby train sets had a strange power. They turned dads into little boys again. Officially, they were for the children. In reality, whole families would lean in together, watching that little locomotive disappear into a tunnel made of painted card and reappear as if by miracle on the other side. A simple oval of track on a plywood board became your own British rail network without the delays. Dinky toys. Pocket money day meant one thing: pressing your nose against the shop's glass cabinet. Dinky toys felt serious. Solid metal, proper weight, paint the color of real buses, real lorries, real fire engines. They weren't meant to sit on a shelf. They were driven down skirting boards, launched off armchairs, crashed into table legs and each other. The chips in the paint, the bent bumpers, that wasn't damage. That was a record of adventures. Corgi cars. And then Corgi arrived and blew our tiny minds. Die-cast models with windows. Imagine! You could see inside, little seats, steering wheels, sometimes even passengers. Then came the legend, the Corgi James Bond Aston Martin DB5. Pop-up bullet shield, rotating number plates, and that glorious ejector seat. If you owned one, you can probably still remember the feel of that tiny silver villain flying out of the roof. On the playground, owning that car didn't just make you popular, it made you royalty. Cindy. While American girls had Barbie, British girls had someone closer to home. Cindy. The doll you loved to dress. She didn't look like a Hollywood starlet. She looked like the girl from up the road. Softer face, kinder eyes, and outfits that could have come straight from C&A or Woolworths. Do you remember peeling back the flap on those little outfit boxes? Tiny zips, miniature handbags, shoes that always ended up under the sofa. Cindy wasn't just a doll. She was a best friend, a model, a stand-in for the grown-up you thought you might become. Action Man. For the boys, there was only one true hero. Action Man launched in 1966 with his battle scar, gripping hands, and later those famous eagle eyes that flicked from side to side. One day, he was a paratrooper. The next, a deep-sea diver in the bath, or an Arctic explorer in the snow-dusted back garden. His wardrobe was better than most of ours. Uniforms, skis, tents, tanks, jeeps, all laid out on the bedroom floor like a tiny barracks. And yes, many of us did try to parachute him out of the bedroom window with a handkerchief and some string. He usually survived. The rose bushes, less so. Subutio. On the dining table, another national passion was brought to life. You'd unroll the green baize pitch, trying in vain to get the creases out. Set up the goals. Then came the players, little plastic men balanced on rounded bases like tiny bowling pins. A good Subutio flick took practice. Too soft, and nothing happened. Too hard, and your star striker flew off the table and under the sideboard. Home leagues were organized, cups and finals played. Arguments started and never quite finished. For 90 minutes, or until Mum needed the table for tea, you were the manager, the crowd, and the commentator. Monopoly. On darker evenings, one battered cardboard box could decide the mood of the whole household. Monopoly came out, the board unfolded, the metal tokens lined up on go, top hat, boot, dog, thimble. At first, everyone was polite. Then the buying started, the deals, the quiet, stitched-up bargains between siblings. Someone always became the ruthless property tycoon. Someone always went to jail more than seemed mathematically possible. Rose over free parking, sneaky little side rules, and that moment when you realized landing on Bond Street with 3 houses was financial ruin. Scale extric. If Hornby was for train lovers, scale extric was for the speed demons. Plastic track clicked together across the sitting room floor. You'd slot the cars into their grooves, squeeze the trigger, and listen for that glorious high-pitched whine as they shot off. It was all in the finger. Too much power, and your car flew off at the first bend and vanished under the sofa. Get it just right, and you could slip past your dad's car on the last corner and claim victory, until he insisted on a rematch. Christmas afternoon, with everyone stepping gingerly over the track like it was sacred, is a memory that still feels warm. Airfix kits. Then there were the quiet hours spread over the kitchen table with yesterday's newspaper as protection. Airfix kits, Spitfires, Hurricanes, Lancasters, Messerschmitts, tanks, and ships, all waiting in gray plastic on their sprues. You'd carefully twist or cut the pieces free, dab on the glue, and hope your fingers didn't fuse together in the process. The real test came with the transfers, tiny roundels and numbers that had to slide into exactly the right place. Sometimes the cockpit ended up cloudy with glue. Sometimes a wing wasn't quite straight. But when you finally hung that finished model from your bedroom ceiling with cotton, you felt like you'd built a real Air Force, Britain's soldiers and farm. Some worlds were even smaller. Britain's toy soldiers stood to attention in perfect little rows. Guards in bearskins, Highlanders in kilts, cavalry on horses. Alongside them, whole farms and fields, cows, sheep, pigs, tractors, fences, and hedges. The bedroom carpet became countryside, battlefield, parade ground, sometimes all 3 at once. Lining them up, moving them ever so slightly, arranging and rearranging, it was slow, thoughtful play that absorbed whole afternoons. Pelham puppets. Then there were toys that asked us not just to play, but to perform. Pelham puppets came in long rectangular boxes, wooden marionettes dangling from a cross of strings, clowns, witches, animals, fairy tale heroes, and later, TV favorites. It took patience to get them to walk without tangling their legs or to bow at the right moment. Sitting rooms turned into theaters with sheets for curtains and parents as the politely captive audience. In those moments, you weren't just a child. You were puppeteer, director, and star performer all at once. Fuzzy felt. Not every toy was noisy or dramatic. Fuzzy felt was quiet magic, a plain board, and a pile of soft colored shapes. People, animals, houses, trees. No batteries, no instructions, no level complete. Just you, your imagination, and a bit of peace. You'd build a farm scene, then sweep it all away and make a circus. Then a strange little world where sheep floated in the sky and cows sat on roofs. The gentle sound of felt against felt, the concentration tongue at the corner of your mouth. It was simple, soothing creativity. Spirograph. Then came the toy that turned us all into accidental mathematicians. Spirograph, that red plastic frame, a handful of clear plastic gears, and a biro or two. You'd pin the ring to the paper, choose a hole, and start slowly turning. Round and round the pattern grew. Loops within loops, flowers made of perfect curves. It looked like something printed by a machine. And, of course, there was the heart-sinking moment when your pen slipped right near the end and sliced through your masterpiece. Etch a sketch. If you wanted to draw without wasting paper, nothing beat that chunky red frame. Etch a sketch sat solidly in your lap, its gray screen full of possibilities. 2 white knobs, one for up and down, one for left and right. Stairs and boxes were easy, curves and diagonals. That was advanced wizardry. Every so often you'd see some incredible picture in a shop window or on telly that someone had drawn on an Etch-a-Sketch and think, they must be cheating. Viewmaster. If your family holidays didn't go far, the Viewmaster did the traveling for you. That red viewer felt almost futuristic. You'd slide in a cardboard reel, hold it up to the light, and click. Suddenly, there you were, standing at the Grand Canyon, walking through a jungle, watching Disney characters in 3D7 little windows into other worlds, at a time when most of us thought going to the seaside was a proper expedition. Those bright, tiny images felt impossibly real, almost like you could step into them. Space Hopper. Back in the garden, one bright orange creature ruled the late 60s and early 70s. The Space Hopper, with its silly grin and 2 ears for handles, had a smell all of its own, that strong whiff of rubber and excitement. You'd climb on, grip tight, and bounce like your life depended on it. Sometimes you made it in a straight line down the path. Sometimes you bounced sideways straight into the flower bed. It wasn't elegant, it wasn't safe, but it was absolutely glorious. Hula hoop. If the Space Hopper was about up and down, the hula hoop was all about going round and round. A simple plastic ring, often in bright stripes, that turned every street and back garden into a dance floor. You'd wriggle your hips as fast as you could, trying to keep it circling your waist. Some children were annoyingly brilliant. They could keep it up for ages, move it from waist to neck to knees, even spin 2 at once. These toys didn't entertain us for free. They made us imagine, build, practice, share, argue, make up, try again. So, tell me in the comments, how many of these 20 did you have? Which one would you give anything to hold in your hands just once more? Thanks for coming back in time with me. Until next time, keep those memories polished. They're worth more than any collectible.